now. I've got tabs open in different browsers for both YouTube and Rumble to make certain it is going. But yeah, technical difficulties. Always fun. Always fun. Alright, looks like YouTube is going. Yes, it is. Cool. Then I don't need those tabs anymore. Alright. So after all that, though, hopefully this will also prove fun. So the idea is we're just going to look at the different books and such that are featured on Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Amazon, and pick ones that look interesting for covers and analyze them and see if they're actually good or not. So
Cool.
that, which I think this is going to be a little bit easier. So I'm sharing the tab at the moment. So you can pick. I can also give an example of a cover that I actually really like. I think it's an excellent cover for the book.
Mm-hmm.
It's more a woman's book, but it's an excellent cover for a book if you just want me to show you how
Yeah,
I
go
kind of
for
approach
it.
this. Okay. So let me... Okay. Yeah, so I found this back in April when I did that month's cover impressions. Yeah, Pachinko, and I think this is an excellent book cover because looking at it, the image that forms in my mind for what the story is one thing. It's about not just an Oriental woman, but an Oriental matriarch because of how
Mm-hmm.
we have the woman up there, her dress flowing down with the image on there that does then include another woman down here and two small children.
Yeah.
And it's just, to me, this is a great cover because it's immediately telling me what can I expect from this story. And something else that I also find kind of funny, because of the red sun disc there, I'm immediately thinking, okay, they're Japanese. I don't know different styles of Oriental dress enough to know if this is Japanese dress, Korean dress, Chinese dress.
Yeah.
But when I then got to reading the blurb, it's saying, oh, she's Korean. It's like, oh, okay, got that wrong. Moves to Japan. Nope, great cover.
Yeah. No, obviously a lot of thought went into this one.
Oh, yes.
They had hired a really good artist.
Yep.
That's very nice.
Excellent cover. Excellent cover. But that's more of a woman's book, so not exactly for me. But I completely respect that cover, and I can believe that's a very good book as well for what it actually described there. So,
Yeah. To me, I'm finding that when I'm browsing the bookstore, it's actually easier to filter out by cover books that I don't want to read versus the books that immediately jump out that I do want to read, if that makes sense.
oh yeah, yeah. No, I mean,
Because there's a
we
certain
do.
style that I'm like, that's not, not for me. So,
Yep, I've been encountering that, and this is the purpose of the book cover. So, all right. So, are there any here you'd like to pick from? Because also some of these I may have already done before, but hey, all are fair game with you.
what is this one? Salt. What is that?
All right. So let me do that. Move over to here. So it's Salt or World History. That's what it's saying there. So do you want to examine that or move on because it's probably somewhat nonfiction-y? And sometimes those
It's
aren't always as
definitely
fun.
it's definitely nonfiction.
Mhm.
But that's probably that book probably slaps. It's probably a great coffee table book.
It might. Yeah, and it is I for what it's telling me, this does look like a good cover to me because it is iconic salt shaker silhouette there. And because it's just white on black and to some variation in the shaker, we're still very clear this is what it's about. That's it, which, I mean, yeah, I mean, it could be quite good.
Yeah, it's best to keep it simple sometimes,
Yeah,
particularly
and
for nonfiction. Yeah.
must have for any series cook or foodie, they say, which, oh yeah, sometimes reading these blurbs gets interesting. Because it's also, just like when picking a cover and having good artists, the blurbs, well, the like short one-line reviews, how those are picked, those can tell you so much as well.
They should. If they
Yeah.
don't, you're doing it wrong.
Yep. So, but yeah,
All
we
right, let's
can.
move on.
Yeah.
Okay. I've already read Project Hail Mary. That was a great book. I've seen sort of copycat. I mean, like it. There's lots of you can find lots of books that have astronauts on the cover. Um, and it does remind me vaguely of The Expanse, although that might be some of the imagery they used in the the intro to the TV series that is like coming to mind. But if you scroll down, are we just so you're just on bestsellers right now? So that's all your click.
Well,
You're not
bestsellers
filtered
up
by
here.
anything. Just
Everyone's talking about. I don't know how those are selected. That's an automatic thing from what's being bought, or if they're actually looking at social media. Our best paperbacks, our best new fiction, best nonfiction, well, best new nonfiction, recently reviewed.
All right, let's stick to fiction. So let's go back up to where's best fiction. I find it very interesting that I'm seeing a lot of this, like when I stop into the local bookstore. The titles are askew. Like if you notice this one, the Impossible. Sorry, I have to squint because it's tiny on my screen. The Impossible Fortune, or the Adversary to the Villain. This is a new trend.
Okay, that.
This is a new trend of making writing askew, and I think it is to sort of, it's just like a cheap way to make the cover stand out compared to other covers where the titles are just flat.
Yeah, and
I wonder if it's working.
See, I don't know, but to me, one thing that actually annoys me, I hate whenever the author's name is larger than the title, because I buy books for the book. I don't necessarily buy it for the author. The author still informs me, but it's like I'm interested in the book. So, in fact, that Richard Osman is much larger than, I mean, except for the total title there, it's much larger than The Impossible Fortune.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
I mean, I've never heard of this particular author. Maybe I should have, but if he has a large following, then it's his name that's selling the book. But yeah, no, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, because there's also, there was one, yeah, this was actually way back in the first of these videos that I did. Do you know who John Grisham is or what he writes?
Yeah, doesn't he write thrillers?
Okay, I didn't know that. Looking at this title, looking at this cover page, which is actually different than what it had been, but is there anything there to tell me what the genre of this is?
I mean, it's vaguely evocative of like, halls of power. So you might get some implications there of thriller-ishness or mystery or whatever. It's a little vague. Like at that point, like when you're that popular, you could just not even have a cover at all and just have a title.
Almost,
People will still read it.
Yeah. This is actually what it was when I saw it, because they added some stuff in those other ones. But yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, it's like this could have been a romance novel because it's The Widow.
Yeah, usually though, there's the type, the font is different for romance, and then there's usually people. I don't know if I've actually ever seen. You prove me wrong, but I don't know if I've actually ever seen a romance cover where there isn't people on the cover, because it's very people. Women tend to be more people oriented and more attracted to faces and things like that. So this reads very much like it's going to be more something for a male audience. Feel free to disagree.
I wouldn't. I can't disagree with most of what you said there, but that it is targeting a male audience, that I'm not certain of.
Okay.
But it is. There's also one. I think it's this one that we can look at. But let's pick another one that's actually being promoted right now. Yeah. This one that I can also show you that was a. This has potential for male audience, but I kept reading the blurb, and it's like, no, this is so stupid. You're taking me away from it. You're pushing me away.
Okay, show me what you're talking about.
All right. When You Disappeared, which it just, that tells me, okay, somebody went missing, they're having to go after them. It's like, okay, yeah, kind of mystery stuff there. I can get into that. And I like this cover. This is, you have the feminine eyes, I don't. To me, with my masculine eyes, my eyes tend to go to like a single specific detail first and then work its way out. So immediately my eye is drawn to the window here, the lit up window. And then I see that, okay, yeah, the force, and it's like, I get the context from there. It seems for more feminine covers, it's just frilly. But this, like, there's a lot of noise there, not necessarily contextual details. I can be wrong there, but this masculine title, masculine cover, is drawing me and say, okay, when you disappeared, somebody disappeared, that there's a mystery here, something to be solved, action, something to do.
Okay.
When Catherine wakes up alone one morning, she thinks her husband has gone for a run before a walk, but Simon never makes it to the office. His running shoes are by the front door. Nothing is missing except him. So it's like, okay, female protagonist, that's fine. It can still be a wife has to find her husband. There's nothing wrong with a story like that. Catherine knows he must be in trouble. He wouldn't just leave her. He wouldn't leave the children. It's like, okay, there's also children here, which is like, yeah, definitely want to find this dude, because what husband, what father would leave his children? But Simon knows the truth. It's like, right there, okay, now I got a problem. He's fine. He knows the truth. So we know he's alive somewhere. Okay? And this is potentially he chose to leave. So that, as a man, I'm losing interest, because now where's the action in finding him? He's found for himself, at least.
Yeah.
And why he left him what he's done. He knows things about the marriage that would kill Catherine to find out. The memories she holds on to are lies. Again, this is the more feminine audience now.
Definitely, feminine territory. Okay.
When Catherine faces a dark new reality at home, Simon's halfway around the world, alive and thriving. He's doing whatever it takes to stay one step ahead of the truth. And it kind of just follows from that. Eventually, Catherine will finally learn who he is. But it's like, so it's got nothing, there's no mystery here to me. And that's what was appealing to me as a man, is to figure out, okay, let's find him, what happened. No, he's fine. He's been fine the whole time.
Yep. I see what you're saying. I think, though, that you can get away with this today in 2026 because something like, I don't remember the exact statistic, but I think it's the majority of bestsellers among women do have something to do with somebody being murdered or somebody going missing, like some kind of disappearance. Like the biggest audience for like what is that TV show? That really popular TV show, like for like To Catch a Predator or Dateline and things like that. Those are all female audiences.
Yeah.
Like women are obsessed.
Oh yeah. No, and I understand that.
You can definitely get away with that. Because
I think this is fine, but it is when you disappeared, the cover art and that first paragraph, it is making me think, first paragraph and then the second paragraph, that's one sentence. That's okay, I'm a man, I'm interested in this, but once it gets to, we know Simon is fine, I'm out. It doesn't connect with me.
Yeah, no, I get the critique, yeah. All right, what else?
Yep. Accidentally clicked that button twice. Let me put that back. To the stage. Okay. Yeah, and we've also got Kobo we can look at, and Amazon as well. But yeah, are there any here that
What is this one with the apple core? Something about flesh.
Yeah, it just says flesh. Booker Prize. Okay. So this is kind of clever, where you've got the silhouettes of two people. I'm assuming it's two people?
I have to look really closely. This is going to look terrible on camera, but like I'm squinting.
Well, your name is technically covering most of your face. So it's fine. Maybe down there, but... Oh. Sorry, I didn't realize... There. I didn't change the tab. I'm sorry. That's...
No worries. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know where my brain was, but I didn't even see the silhouette at first. Wow, I don't know what
But when it's so small, you're not going to see it. So yeah, that was on me. I forgot to share the right tab.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
let's try to predict. Who is this for? Is this for a male audience, a female audience, or co-ed?
My guess is largely a female audience. And I can give explanation why, but it sounded like you started to talk, so go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think so too. So
Okay.
let's look at the blurb.
Okay, well, it's just I also want to explain why I think
Go
that's
ahead.
going to be more so for my audience, and because the title "Flesh" and the use of an apple. So I think that this is going to have some smut qualities to it, because it's trying to tie to the apple of original sin. Okay, that's where my mind is going with this. So let's see, because I don't have high hopes for some of this stuff. So notes from Szalay. Does money talk? Taking several leaps up the socio-economic ladder, Istvan finally finds himself surrounded by London's elite, but at what price? Szallay's poignant writing offers a lens into one teenage boy's brush with trauma that continues to haunt him far into adulthood. Okay, so that, thus far, I would be wrong. Nothing in there suggesting anything that kind of salacious. But plenty more here. From the shooter's writer on contemporary masculinity we have. That scares me, because it's contemporary masculinity. The first video I did of these, I spent an entire hour on one book that so pissed me off because it was talking about masculinity. And it's like, no, that book is written for somebody like you, who's a woman with a son. It's just based on that blurb. I hated that. Anyway. And we can look at that. I will start ranting on specific points. I'll try not to go for an hour on it, but yeah. So teenage Istvan lives with his mother in a quiet apartment complex in Hungary. Shy and new in town, he's a stranger to the social rituals practiced by his classmates and is soon isolated. Drawn instead into a series of events that leave him forever a stranger to peers, his mother, and himself. The years that follow, Istvan is borne along by the goodwill or self-interest of strangers, charting a rocky yet upward trajectory that lands him further from his childhood and the defining events that abruptly ended it, than he could possibly have imagined. So, thus far, this is seeming
Yeah,
rite of passage kind of stuff with trauma, which
it's written for middle. I would say it's written for middle-aged women. Yeah.
I can believe that, but depending, because when we don't know what the trauma is yet, this could also be for men. I'm not discounting that yet. But let's see, a collection of intimate moments over the course of decades. Flesh chronicles a man at odds with himself, estranged from and by the circumstances and demands of a life not entirely under his control, and the roles that he is asked to play. So, this I'm a little curious about for your opinion, because you're a woman. Over the course of decades, to me, this might be my own personal taste, but I do feel like a more masculine taste is not for a story that's going to span an extended period of time. Like, we want a line going through it, and the line is taut. That we're not suddenly jumping several years without very good reason, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
I stand by what I said.
Do you think that women, though, are more accepting of that, though?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Women, I think, are willing to put up with a lot in books, a lot of sort of meandering and like side issues, small subplots, just nuancy type things. Yeah. So that would work out fine for most female readers, especially in that demographic who would be, say, readers of the New York Times and very concerned with contemporary masculinity.
Shadowed by the specter of past tragedy and the apathy of modernity, the tension between Istvan and all that alienates him hurdles him forward until sudden tragedy again throws his life into jeopardy. Sorry, life as he knows it into jeopardy.
All the buzzwords are in there.
Yep. And
we've got apathy, we've got modernity,
masculinity, somewhere. It is technically a buzzword at this point.
They keyworded this maximally keyworded this.
Okay, and then this
as obnoxious as possible.
I don't find it as obnoxious, but there is one thing that definitely would make me not interested in this. And this last bit here is just like NPR talking, so it's more just the one-line review kind of stuff. In this, I have no sense of what's going on.
Nope.
And none of the blurb do have any idea about what's going on.
There might not be a plot. There might not be a plot.
And it's like that whole, what I was saying with the decades thing, men, we like plots. We like to know why things are happening and for them to move through happening instead of, oh yeah, this happens, then years later we pick back up. I mean, it's one thing if it's like you're skipping over years because person has child and now the child needs to grow up and you're just skipping over that. That's one thing. We can understand that.
Yeah.
But if it's just, and suddenly just years later, because we want them years later, it's like, why? So.
Yeah, there might not be a plot. And I honestly, like, one of the best things to do here is like you're not just reviewing covers, you're reviewing blurbs, teaching people how to be a little bit more discriminating in the books that they picked up, because I feel like this would be easy to get burned by because it's probably on a bestseller list due to multiple connections.
Oh yeah.
And getting a lot of press from people who want to promote a certain narrative. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good book.
Yep, and it's one...
It might even be counterindicative of it being a good book.
Yeah. And one very good example of that is this, Yesteryear, which I'm trying to remember if I'd seen you have comments about this on Substack or not.
I've read a couple Substack pieces about it. Not really interested in reading it myself.
This...
Inside the trad website.
Yes. When I saw this, because like some stuff I was reading is like, okay, this could almost be Connecticut yanking King Arthur's Court kind of stuff. It's like, fish out of water. It's like, okay, there's ways to work with this, that it could be interesting. But the moment I saw that, it's like, okay, you're othering these people. It's like, nope, I'm out. I know what this is about. And then I did see like a week later, somebody on Substack who had read it and shared a review. It's like, oh yeah, it was all the worst things.
It's super. The closest we'll get into a trad wife's mind. Like, have you ever thought about, like, I don't know, like talking to one?
Exactly.
Or like coming over for coffee or something? It's so condescending.
Exactly. And the moment I saw that's not just what somebody wrote, which, okay, that could be that person's opinion, but that's what they picked for promoting it. I know I'm not interested. I'm out.
That's just so, oh my gosh. That's there are other words I could use, but that's just mean.
I'm just, don't go into like slurs or anything and I'm fine.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you know anything about what happens in the plot, but some very unpleasant things happen to this woman in the plot.
Unpleasant things, no. I just remember most of the broad strokes that she...
really unpleasant. Bad. Very bad things.
Okay.
So it's basically like a revenge fantasy. It's just for the author, just sort of taking it out on what she sees the problems with trad wifeism.
There was another book I saw that was kind of like that, Strangers, which was this woman's, and again, I saw like a few weeks later somebody writing about it. But from the blurb, I knew I couldn't read that. And if I had a girlfriend or wife that was like, oh, let me look at this. Nope, I would smack that out of her hand. Because the blurb, it's a woman recounting how her real-life marriage fell apart. But the blurb is written as though a marriage is one person. That there was nothing about her existence that contributed to the marriage collapsing. Nothing at all. It was just everything in the blurb was, he did this, he did this, he did this, he did this. And it's like, because it is kind of a revenge fantasy to a degree then. Which she's going to, based on the blurb, because I haven't read the book, based on the blurb, it's only presenting how wrong he is. There's no acknowledgement about her own culpability, no acknowledgement for her presence in there. So yeah, it's, yeah. And because of that, that's why I'd smack that out of a woman that's close to me. I would smack that out of her hands. Because like, no. That is poison, okay? I mean, unless it's I know you're going to be mocking the hell out of this. Nope. It's poison.
All right. Next one.
Yeah, so Any others here, or do you want to try going over to Kobo or Amazon?
Yeah, let's see what's on Kobo. I actually haven't scrolled Kobo, so that would be interesting to see.
They do sometimes have more of the young adult, the YA stuff that is a, wait a minute, that's not appropriate.
Mm-hmm. YA,
But
yeah.
this one doesn't look
Quote
so
unquote. Okay. What is the one with the upside down? Uprooted. What is that?
bad. Okay, so focusing first on this, which it's still not great. Okay, so we've got a like traditional castle tower up there that turns into a tree at its base, and the tree itself is upside down. Uprooted, a modern classic, according to the New York Times. That's about all we get. So
It's cool. I like things that are upside down. That's actually a great way to draw attention. So put something upside down because both the title and the imagery are upside down. Pretty good.
my guess for this is, I mean, it's kind of generic, but somebody that may have been most used to being in the castle, so in wealth, and then losing that, and so being thrown back into nature. Or it could be vice versa, because it is the tree that's upside down, not the tower. But still, and that's what the title suggests too. It's just civilization, you might even say the tower represents, versus nature with the tree.
It does make you wonder, which is sort of the point. It's just to get you to pick up the book.
And there's, with this though, Nebula and Hugo, and then also down here, those are science fiction. So,
Yep.
not sure, but it's also, this is my own opinion. I don't like how they seem to have subsumed fantasy under science fiction. And to me, it's like they would put the Lord of the Rings under science fiction. It's like,
Or the other way around.
Yeah.
Like in my local bookstore, it's like sci-fi and fantasy, but most of it is fantasy. And then there's sort of a smaller section under that banner that is actually just the sci-fi books. So I don't know, maybe it works different in different bookstores, but to me, I'm like, I wasn't interested in all of this other stuff because a lot of what's in the fantasy is actually just romantasy. So then that's taking up like the whole category.
where? I'm trying to remember where it was. It might have been you. It might have been somebody else I was seeing talking about how they basically decided to go on a campaign at Target because they will see the romantasy books on the shelf there. It's like there are children seeing this stuff now. That's not.
Yeah, no, it's at child like they'll go all the way down to the ground, these bookshelves.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, your 8-year-old can pick up one of these books and start reading and have no idea what they're.
Yeah, it's like
It's
one
really
thing because
frustrating.
I have a large number of movies, plenty of them not appropriate for children. And the way I even think about it is those would be on a higher shelf, so they can't reach it. And the low shelf stuff is like, no, go ahead and take that. You can watch it any time. In fact, I'll watch it with you.
Yeah, well, it's not really. We don't really design things with children in mind anymore, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah. All right, so what have we got here for the description? First, a bunch of this Rick Jordan stuff is strong characters, brilliantly original variations on ancient stories. So that's fairly neutral, but in theory, that could be saying, "Hey, we're subverting stuff." Breathtaking, a tale that is both elegantly grand and earthly humble, familiar as a Grimm's fairy tale. Yet fresh, original, and totally irresistible. It's interesting to read through Grimm's fairy tales. There's some very stupid things in that. Like, I wonder why some of them are in there. Like, what was this teaching about? One of the best books of the year, according to NPR, BuzzFeed, Tor.com book page, Library Journal, and Publishers Weekly.
Okay.
I don't know how much I want to try to pronounce that name. Loves her valley home, her quiet village, the forest, and the bright, shining river. But the corrupted wood stands on the border, full of malevolent power, and its shadow lies over her life. Her people rely on the cold... Yeah, that might be a good idea, too. Applying the cold, driven wizard known only as the Dragon to keep its power at bay. He demands a terrible price for his help. One young woman handed over to serve him for 10 years. Fate as terrible as falling to the wood. this is definitely bordering on potentially that kind of romantic setup, it seems. But I do also find it odd that this a fate almost as terrible as falling to the wood. It's like you're employed for 10 years. I mean, true, we don't know what, but it's just this almost feels like the silly variation, but it immediately made me think of that man or bear question.
I don't know. This one's a toss up for me. I think it would be a toss up of whether I enjoyed it or not. Um, yeah, I don't know. But, the cover points on the cover because
Yeah, but look at this. The next choosing is fast approaching, and that name I'm not going to try to pronounce, is afraid. Everyone knows that the dragon, the wizard, will take Kezia. Beautiful, graceful, brave Kezia. All the things she isn't, and her dearest friend in the world, and there's no way to save her. But she fears the wrong thing, for when the dragon comes is not Kezia he will choose. But it's just like... Okay. I said not...
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so that does...
I'm tilting away from this book now.
Yeah. Same with me, because the whole, you're actually concerned about this other person. It's like, so you're not concerned with yourself, but obviously you're the main character. It has to be about you. I definitely feel that that's...
You could probably hook
weird.
people in with fewer words. This is kind of a long blurb, but maybe you can get away with that if you're a New York Times bestseller. Sometimes less words is better.
Oh yes, definitely. I've
because you can get into a lot of trouble by over-explaining your plot or over-explaining certain details because, well, especially as an author, like you can be too far in it to really see what your potential readers need to see on the page because you know all of the ins and outs in your book. So the more you write, the more trouble you can get into.
That's why I'm lousy at writing blurbs for my stuff. It's like I'm too close, and it's just what is it that actually matters. But I mean, it's for me, I don't think I would try this one. So, but for the record, I have purchased some books because going through and it did interest me. I just haven't gotten to reading them yet.
Mm-hmm. This one on the edge looks like what is this? A young adult book?
Jade City?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is actually one that I have looked at before, so...
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's... I would say that, why is that...
So what is this, cyberpunk?
It... Actually, yes, it does have some cyberpunk elements to it. It's...
Okay.
Kind of weird. I don't know why it's
getting that.
Behaving like that, but... It is not YA in the bad way for what was written.
Yeah.
Based on the blurb, at least. So it's...
Okay. Okay. Well, then the title is doing its job. I think we can say that.
Nope. It looks like that's about as large as I can get the cover.
All right. Next one.
Next book? Okay.
To me, usually honestly, if I'm looking online, what's selling me on books is high ratings most of the time.
I'm not sure if I can sort by that. This. Oh, top new ebook releases would technically be sorting by some of that. So we've got a Trade of Blood, Adversary to the Villain. Isn't that just the... Okay. Embrace.
Which... You're like, isn't that just the protagonist?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it could be an anti-hero. But it's... Yeah, exactly. Embrace, which... Yeah, we know what's going on there. It's just... At least it looks like it's a boy and a girl.
It has that classic childish, smutty cover that we've all come to know and love over the past few years.
Yeah, you might love it. Then we have The Unknown here with just this basically red scale tree. You'll Be Sorry.
What do you think? Murder mystery? Those last two?
The Unknown.
Some kind of thriller.
I'm not convinced that. You'll Be Sorry. Yes, probably murder mystery, but might be a revenge fantasy specifically.
Okay, I'm gonna guess I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess thriller on the unknown, and I'm gonna guess. Yeah, definitely revenge fantasy. I mean, with a title like "You'll Be Sorry,"
Yeah. It's
we
just
should
with the
find out if we're
unknown.
right.
I don't want to commit to thriller on that because I could also see that being fantasy that's just somehow surrounding this tree. But let's take
All
a
right.
closer look.
Well, I think it's fun to guess before we find out.
Oh yeah. Okay. So good. This once the base goes away, we'll get a better look at this. The Unknown by Riley Sager. We're not really getting any more detail than that because it's just best-selling author of a previous book. Yeah, there's not really much there except it is
Blurb,
clearly a
blurb.
tree and very red. So, 1926, 5 women disappeared from a remote island in Vermont. Now, 100 years later, it's happening again. Okay. Struggling actress. Zoom in to make that easier for others. Marion Keene is shocked when she lands a role in a major motion picture about the unsolved mystery of New Avalon, an island on sprawling Lake Faraday in Vermont. She's even more surprised when she learns that the role requires a week-long research trip to that very spot. I'm not getting any red flags thus far. Because New
I just
Avalon
want to find out if I'm right.
Because New Avalon isn't your ordinary island. A century ago, it's definitely a thriller. It seems there might be fantasy stuff going on here, but this is sounding like it is a thriller.
Is it a murder?
A century ago, it was a commune for spiritual mediums. This is targeting women, until they all vanished in 1926. The only trace of them was 5 dresses hanging from the branches of an old oak tree in the middle of the island, one for each missing woman. And this is just reminding me the fairy circle kind of stuff that... Is it Wicca? Is it Wiccan that's supposedly from where it is they would all strip, dance around like that, and then put the clothes and do that at midnight, then put the clothes on, and leave. So it's like they did that and just disappeared. So anyway, some locals say they simply left. Others think they were murdered, but the prevailing opinion, thanks to a diary left behind by one of the vanished, a young woman named Daisy Rue, is that a seance gone wrong conjured something supernatural that took them all one by one. Not long after arriving, Marion and her castmates, including legendary actress Violet Wright and white-hot director Ronan Peters, begin to realize all's not right in New Avalon. They hear strange noises in the night and notice some mysterious symbols left behind by the island's previous occupants. From a century ago, or... I'm not sure, but... and after a sudden health emergency leaves Marion, Roan, and the other actors stranded on the island, the disappearances begin again. Is it the work of someone trying to derail the movie, or is the island's alleged supernatural past catching up with the present? As fear and suspicion mount, Marion turns to Daisy's diary, hoping it holds the key to figuring out what really happened to the women of New Avalon, and how to keep the island's terrible history from repeating itself.
All right, so let's just say mostly I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm right. Okay. All right. Let's do. What was the other one we were looking at?
You'll Be Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Revenge fantasy. All right.
Yeah. But I will also just say that with the unknown, that very much to me seemed woman-coded. All that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and also, why was the blurb so long? Does it really need to be that long? Again, like
no, definitely not.
Getting more. I don't think you're actually giving a potential reader more after a certain point. Like after
Yes.
150, 180 words. I don't know. Diminishing.
I don't necessarily view it as a word count thing. Not that that isn't there, but that blurb did basically repeat itself. So like you could have cut that in half, and you didn't lose any information.
Yep.
Okay. So You'll Be Sorry. Unfortunately, it is not showing all of the cover here, but it's still, we got a very close view of this 3-story barn, a well, and the red sky behind it. I can't quite tell. It looks like we might be looking over some rocks towards the barn.
Nice painterly cover. I like that. You don't see that as much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it could also be that this was a photograph that filters were run on. But, I mean, yeah, it is still...
Yeah,
that is the style it's evoking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Newlywed couple, each with their own secrets. Oh, shit. An abandoned lodge with a horrific decades-old mystery. That's not a lodge. That's a barn. In a small mountain town where everyone believes they know their neighbors, in this thriller from a master storyteller. Raquel and Theo Collins, it appeared to be love at first sight. I'll zoom in again. Raquel, a renowned interior designer, and Theo, a brash financial wizard, met and married in a matter of months, only to confront a terrible tragedy. Now unbearably aware of the distance between them, they've come to a remote town in New Hampshire to begin anew. Perched on a ledge with stunning views, the Dixon's family lodge was once a crown jewel of the mountains, until late one August night, when both parents and the 4 children vanished, leaving behind a trail of bloody footprints and a mystery that has endured for 30 years. Now its latest occupants, the Collinses, are arriving, and the former Grand Lodge is once more stirring to life. For Amanda Grady, who is this? This is how I will do these videos. So it's like, who's this character now? Following in her father's footsteps as a recently appointed Sherford police chief, it's good to see a fresh start for the Derelict Dixon place. However, not everyone is happy about a new family in the old home, and sin past might have returned with a vengeance. A stray dog leads to the discovery of a skeleton on the property. Raquel and Theo face a daunting choice of what to believe, who to trust, and how to survive. Because in the tiny village of Sherford, the time has come. The local residents, the new neighbors, and the fledgling police chief must work together to unravel the terrifying events that happened one night 30 years ago, or you'll be sorry.
Yeah, okay. So the problem with this blurb is the 5th paragraph should be the first paragraph. You need to lead with your hook. Why? That's why it's called a hook. Just freaking lead with your hook. Move the first paragraph up to the top, and then just rejigger the flow. Also, cut out at least 30% of this.
Yep.
That blurbs make me angry, and I think I probably should be an editor, and I'm not. But honestly, if you have a when statement and it's strong and it's punchy and it's oh, this shocking thing happens, and your sentence leads with when, that's a pretty good indication that you need to put it at the top. That is what you lead with.
Yeah, this is...
Anyway.
It is definitely all over the place. Because there's also... I mean, it does sound like it is not a revenge fantasy, at least. But why is You'll Be Sorry? Where is that coming from? Because that is an active statement from one person to another or to a group. So there's somebody that's coming from somebody, which is why revenge makes sense. We have no sense of who's saying this.
I feel bad dunking on this author, because this author probably worked really hard on that, and blurbs are really hard. Just from a writer/reader perspective, you can do better. You can do better.
I don't feel bad at this point.
I would probably make pretty good money if I read books and then wrote blurbs for books. That's not a bad gig. I mean, if you really wanted a really good blurb. I don't know.
I'll keep that in mind. What will your rates be?
I have no idea. This thought just came to me. I'm not making any money on Substack, okay?
Yeah, neither am I. I do this all for fun. And that's also part of the reason why I don't feel bad about trashing some of this stuff. Because if it's bad, it should be called out. And it's also your very point as well about, if I'm calling out a bad blurb, that doesn't mean that the book itself is bad. That's the blurb that's bad. Yep. So my criticism, I try to be specific. Like how you're talking about how this paragraph should be up at the top. How you're saying you're repeating yourself like with the other book. It's like, those are specific criticisms that if somebody were to see this video and decide, yes, you're right, let's change the blurb, it's like they can act on that. It's not just we're laughing at this. It's we're laughing with purpose and with reason.
We are laughing with purpose. That's great, Jim.
Yep.
That should be your catchphrase. We're mocking with purpose.
Yeah, I'll make that note.
Okay, I think I have time for one more, and then I gotta wrap it up.
Okay. Yeah, so here, let's see what Amazon is offering. Or hang on, we can also that one that I mentioned that sent me off for an hour way back.
All
We
right,
can
let's
look at
take a
that
look
if you
at
want.
that. Yeah.
That is also an Amazon book. Have you seen this before?
Notes on being a man. Oh, it's Scott
Yes.
Galloway. Okay.
Okay. I don't know who that is. Apparently, your familiarity, but
Yes.
I don't. And it was at first I saw the title. It's like, saw the cover. And it's like, I mean, okay, this works. But then as I read more and thought more, it's like, okay, I'm really hating this
Okay.
because in theory, who is this targeting? Men. It also should be written by a man. It's wimpy handwriting though. Because this should be a felt
Well,
tip,
it's
but look at all the streaking
hand
in this.
scrawled.
Yeah, it's like
It's wimpy
this.
because
A
it's
man.
streaky.
There should be strength behind every stroke here, and yet it's thin in places.
I love it. Like I would not have come up with that criticism,
And
but
but
I
to be clear,
appreciate it.
I only thought of that later as I read the blurb and just got more and more pissed off by the nonsense that this is.
Okay.
So it
All
starts. Yeah, it starts off strong, but then it gets to a point where it's like, oh, I know what's going on here. I'm out. But I had to keep reading because, like, I need to know how much I need to hate this.
right. Okay.
Boys and men are in crisis. Rarely has a cohort fallen further and faster than young men living in Western democracies. Boys are less likely to graduate from high school or college than girls. 1 in 7 men reports having no friends, and men account for 3 of every 4 deaths of despair in America. Even worse, the lack of attention on these problems has created a vacuum filled by voices espousing misogyny, the demonization of others, and a toxic vision of masculinity. Now, that much I'm good with. I can work with this. It's like, okay, I'm at least interested. But then it continues. But this is not just a male issue. Women and children can't flourish if men aren't doing well. And as we know from spates of violence, there's nothing more dangerous than a lonely, broke young man. You've immediately gone to victim blaming. This is what tells me this is not a book for men. This is actually a book for women who may have sons or brothers. Just a book for women wanting to learn about men. But I have no faith at this point that they would learn anything positive.
Okay.
And it does not get better. And to be fair, though, this could be whoever wrote the blurb doesn't know how to write to actually target men. Scott Galloway has been sounding the alarm on this issue for years. I do not know who he is, just to add to that, and this is based on my introduction to him. It's not that good. In Notes on Being a Man, Galloway explores what it means to be a man in modern America. He promotes the importance of healthy masculinity and mental strength, shares his own story from boyhood to manhood, exploring his parents' difficult divorce, his issues with anger and depression, his attempts to earn money, and his life raising 2 boys. He shares the sometimes funny, often painful lessons he learned along the way, some of which include, and we'll get to those, but I do just want to acknowledge, this middle paragraph here, it is kind of neutral to me, but it still is, because we ended on, victim blaming here, because it's like, the men are in trouble, but we know that if there's a problem here, it's really the women and children that suffer. It's like, I can't fully trust the neutrality in here, and also, what do they mean by healthy masculinity and mental strength? It's also worth noting that around the same time, I was reading Stoic, a collection of Stoic works that sound a lot better than this. But
Okay.
then
I get what you're
getting
saying.
to these points, yeah, it just, because especially with some of these points, it's okay, no, I just read Seneca. That I enjoyed that quite a bit, reading the Seneca works in that, and that I felt is far more answering to the problems of modern men than what is being offered here. But
Yeah.
get out of the house, action absorbs anxiety. Yeah, I mean, some action you can still do within the house, but like even this is an action that can absorb anxiety. Take risks and be willing to feel like an imposter. Don't let rejection stop you. There was some rejection, it should stop you. Be kind. That one sent me off. That's the secret to success in relationships. I'm just curious, do you know why be kind would set me off? I know you don't know me, but do you know why that might set off a man who is sensitive to these issues?
Well, it's very It seems like feminine messaging. This seems like more messaging to women than it is messaging to men.
Yep,
Yeah, I'm
that's definitely part of it.
picking up what you're putting down. Yeah,
Yep,
I'll let you
that
explain
is,
better than I can. Though.
it's, yeah, it's absolutely, that's part of it, but it's subjective.
Mhm.
Kindness is completely subjective. Some people always telling the truth, that would be considered kindness, and lying to them is always wrong. Some people, no, they want the lies. But so it would be unkind. So it's like, as men, and as you're pointing out, that's more feminine language. So a man, what does this mean? What does kindness mean? And as also, I typically am a kind man. If you were to ask a lot of people that know me, they would describe me as nice, as kind, and so on.
Mhm.
You don't want to be
It's not
like
the
me.
trait that you lead with. It's not the trait that you lead with.
Yep.
I think there are there's some validity to that criticism. It just usually comes from people who are very off-putting. Internet, I found
Be
there's some validity with that criticism. It's like you're not leading with being kind. Like if you are a kind person, that's just going to come out. But like, I mean, if you're trying to, attract a mate, that's usually not. It's usually not going to cut it.
Yeah, yeah. But there's also, to me, be respectful.
Yeah.
That is something men understand respect. That's like a natural thing that a man will understand. You tell somebody be respectful and all that, and you try to reinforce, even if the other people are not treating you well, you should still be respectful. We might not like it, but that's still something we can wrap our minds around. That's something we can understand. Be kind. It's subjective. That depends on the other person. So you're always being
It's much more
subordinate and
emotive.
submissive to them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Find what you're good at, follow your talent. That does not necessarily mean you're going to have a job, though. I've been still more chronically unemployed than underemployed. I technically have not achieved full employment. Just following what you're good at, following your talent, that doesn't get you necessarily. Acknowledge your blessings and create opportunities for others. Be of surplus value. It's like, that is actually legitimately good advice. I can't say anything negative to. Being good dad means being good to the mother of your children. Absolutely agree with that. Life isn't about what happens to
That's kind
you.
of rich coming from. I'm pretty sure. Okay, if I remember, I'm 97% certain that it's Scott Galloway that left his wife that he had been married to for many years since being young at the age of 35, so that he could go basically be a hedonist in New York City. So pretty rich, pretty rich.
But yeah, this just, it set me off so much because, like I said, with the chronic unemployment and such, I am one of those young men that this book is in theory supposed to be targeting, and I know how much of this of the blurb doesn't mean anything to me. I know that these are lessons that don't actually help, that don't make that difference. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I say I can see why it set you off. I get it.
So,
The wimpy handwriting, like that is just such a.
Yeah, I mean, I know that sounds weird, but it's just I'm going through the blurb and then I'm looking back at this and then noticing that, like, especially
You're
with
like, the
the
writing
A
is
here.
feminine. It should be all caps, only printed. Printed
Yes,
caps.
that legitimately was one of the things I even said, was that it would be print, not cursive. Not that men don't write cursive, but is the bold of print is a more masculine thing.
It's so true. It's so true. Got it.
See, and this is why I'm so glad you were willing and able to come on here, because it is the feminine mind, the feminine eye, and seeing that in contrast to my own masculine mind and eye.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that was really fun. We should do more blurbs sometime, though. And well, actually, you know what? Here's a suggestion. I think it would be fun to line up like maybe 10 books at random and then go through and guess what genre they belong to and what audience they're for, and then go through and see how right you were, and then it's like a game, and like then you could total it up and see how many.
Okay. So you'd be interested in doing this again?
Yes, but as a game.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So line up books at random to guess the like genre slash
The
topic
genre and the audience. Yeah.
and
So like,
target audience. Okay.
yeah, target
I
audience.
typically try to do about 9, so 3 from Barnes & Noble, 3 from Kobo, and 3 from Amazon. So that matches up perfectly with what I typically try to do.
Nice.
So yeah, then maybe next month, but I have a feeling you're going to be busy.
Oh, I'm going to be
At
so
that point.
busy. Yeah, it might be. It might be a while. I don't know. I don't know yet. Because it all depends on the temperament of the baby, right? If
Mhm.
it's an easy baby, I could do a lot more. If it's a really fussy baby, I won't be able to do as much.
Yep.
That's just life.
Yeah, that is also only if I actually try to do it once a month, because to me it's just that gives time to cycle to the whatever is being featured. But in theory, we could pull from any year even, so it's not just what is being featured. So okay, yeah, then yeah, we can try to figure out some way of doing that, but it'll wait until after you have your number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, until next time, Jim.
Yeah, until next time, Georgie.
I'll
It's been
see you
great to
around.
Yep. See you on Substack.